Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dustin, Berserker Bear, coming to you with another edition of Bushwhacking Tartaria at the Colonel Ward pumping station at the foot of Porter in Buffalo. I got you some boots on the ground, and I'm going to do some research from scratch, pretty much, and walk you through it as I do it. So let's just get right into it. All right. So here's where we are today at the Colonel F Ward pumping station. And again, as I said, it's at the foot of Porter. I think it has to do with the waterworks. Uh, Probably connected to that water tower that I did last show on at the in Depew. I presume that there's probably a water tunnel from this place to that tower that I'm going to go to. Um, and I'm literally just going to do my research flying from the hip as I normally do from scratch. And I'm going to propose some questions for you, ask some ask for some insight from my contributors, my commenters. Thank you very much for all of your help, everybody. And I'm just going to walk through effectively a from scratch research of this place so you can see what I do when I'm going through it. Okay, and we'll get you there. Boots on the ground. Let's go check out Google Earth right quick. Oh, wait, what's that? Oh, sorry, you guys caught me in mid research from something else. Oh, hold on. Let me. Oh, what's going on here? Wait, let me get my bearings. Wait, what is that? Oh, wait. That looks strangely familiar. Anyway, let's get back to the research, huh? Very interesting. Ward pumping station. Let's see if that brings it up. There you go. Boom. Okay, so that's where I'm going to be. Okay, and we also have some real cool, some of these older maps. This map I have from 1902, and we're going to get into that area. Okay, we're gonna go over this area and how it's in 1902. It doesn't seem that that huge building is there. It may be a anomaly. Okay, we're gonna try to pinpoint it, and I'm also gonna show the anomaly as to why we show or propose an anomaly as to why we show this Buffalo water intake crib here in this map of 1902, and we don't show it in a map, or I don't think that we show it in a map from 1888. So it would had to have been placed in between then, because this is another a map of Buffalo, and right about that same area in the river. I don't see that intake crib, and obviously the Peace Bridge isn't there. But I've said before that I think that the the base, the piers were there. So again, that could lend credence to the fact that these maps always have a final say. Okay, and definitely are commissioned and may be a little bit censored themselves. Because currently I just tried looking up a couple other maps, and this is in with current issues today. Some of the maps aren't accessible for the current socio-economical situation going on. Not available because of that. Probably because they can say that there's not as many people for IT. Anyway, a good point that Mr. Brees advised me to do is download these really cool zoomable maps. Anyway, so this is a so there's an anomaly here, and again I have boots on the ground at the Buffalo pumping station. Now what I'm going to try to do here is well I'm gonna show you. I'm going to find from scratch. I'm going to show you. Look at see this is the old pier. Bird, that's the old bird pier right there. But they changed this whole thing. Well, you know what? That used to be an island out there in that shape, and you can actually see it on one of these maps. I'm not sure. Let's go over that. So this is where I am, and I'm going to try to find the schematics as to where it shows a bird's eye view of the schematics of this place and how it has a tunnel that connects over to this Massachusetts pumping station. Okay, this would be the old, I believe that's the old Jubilee Waterworks, Black Rock, connected with that because I uh, I haven't found evidence of it yet, but I'm willing to bet that there is a tunnel connecting these two features right here. Now, keep in mind this thing right here is what we see in the is this thing. Okay, there's no Peace Bridge here, but there are these buildings, waterworks stations. See that? Okay, there goes waterworks right there. What that effectively is pointing out, I believe, is this. Okay, in this whole area here. So there's something going on underground here, tunnels underground here that connect to, confirmed, at least to the Massachusetts Ave pumping station, to the Colonel Ward where I was at. There's definitely a tunnel from here to there because it's in the schematics that I found, and we'll try to find it as I go through the research. Okay. Now also in those same schematics, there is a tunnel from the Ward pumping station to the newer water intake crib out in the mouth here of the river. There it is. Now, there's proof of that in the schematics that say one tunnel goes to the Massachusetts Ave station under the Peace Bridge and one goes to the Buffalo intake crib from the Ward station. That's what I want to get into. The place is kind of barricaded off, especially the waterfront. You'll see that in the pictures, but they're all connected, and I also think that they're connected to that water tower way out in Depew. All waterworks, and what were they for? Boy, that's a question for the ages and a question for us researchers that we're trying to find out for you. So let's see if I can't do one of those little zoom-ins for you. Now, here's where we are. And I say the foot of Porter because that's Porter Avenue right there. Okay, and for reference, let's see if we can't get Porter Ave. Okay, there goes Front Ave. That's why it's called Front Park. And there was Niagara Street. Okay, that gives me an idea. Where's Porter? There's Porter. There's Porter. Okay, there's Porter. Okay, there you go. There it is. Look at how small that is. That's a grabble. This thing is huge. It's a waterworks. And they have a waterworks station mentioned here, and in the actual literature, okay, this is another anomaly in the literature, in the map. Porter Ave Station, here you go, that's it right there, I pinpointed it. It's a massive complex, and we're going to go through when it purportedly was installed and all that, and there's no clear literature on the tunnels either, aside from just the schematic, at least that I can find. Now that's what I want to solicit from my supporters and my contributors. Of course at MeWe, obviously, and my commenters. I like to call you more contributors because that's what you are. I'd like to solicit some help as to try to find those. I'll try to get into this complex maybe, but I need your help as to try to find some pictures for those tunnels. Construction of those tunnels, construction pictures of these buildings. So, and we're going to work through this. I'm not constrained anymore by a half hour recording on my phone, so we'll just see how this goes. And let's do it. The place isn't very impressive. There you go, boots on the ground. So I'm going to go through the pictures right now. I walk around it. I'll narrate a little bit, and then we'll get into the literature and the research that I do, and we'll go from there. So yeah, as you can see, it's got the build out already. I mean, this is a very impressive structure, and why it jumps out to me is why is it just so definitely. I believe that it was definitely there at the time of 1902, regardless of when they say that it was built. Um, and if that's the case, they're downplaying it in this map. In my humble, I mean, look at the build out. It's huge, a massive, just massive red brick smokestack chimney. What were they for? Oh, who's that guy? So that's. I think I get a shot of buffalo in the background. Now, effectively, I'm right on. You know what? I'm right on. Oh boy, why do I always do that? I'm right on Porter, looking down towards the lake. There. 93 million miles. No way. So it's got barbed wire around the whole thing. And as I walk down, this is a little bit. Oh yeah, I definitely. As I walk down, I'm going to show you now. The front, the front park actually, LaSalle Park, I think we call it. Now, that's closed off. You'll see. Because I wanted to do a whole 360 as much as I possibly could. And I was thinking about hopping the fence. Not this fence, of course. Look at how big. Oh, it's just massive. Massive. There you go. Now that's like right here. So I was walking down, and yeah, see, you're supposed to be able to go right into this. And I would say this is, see, that's why I said that's LaSalle Park. This is effectively LaSalle Park. Okay. And you can see the imprints and the similarities. See this thing here, Fort Porter? There you go. Not in that one, but I believe in this one. I'm not sure if that's the base of it. What map was that it had the imprint? Yeah, see, this whole area is all, has that whole waterworks station, should be way more built out. I mean, look at that. It's like you have other small houses that they have that are bigger than that. They're downplaying this. And why they have this one labeled as a waterworks station and then the crib here, but then this one's downplayed, that's a question for you guys to help me out with. So that road was closed. Yep, that road right down here. I mean, you could usually you can drive your car down here. My wife and I, my little girl, like to go down here in this park. It's nice because it's by the water, obviously. So it was close. I was thinking about hopping it. Okay, where were we? Yeah. Notice the symbol they use. Very impressive, beautiful structure. Okay, here's a video. Old brick wall too. This whole harbor was completely different. That's the fence I was thinking about hopping. You can hop that in one bound. Professional fence hopper here. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, what's this feature right here too? I want to get that feature, a little band right there. Definitely need some help on that. So yeah, let's get you some more pictures of this beautiful place. So I was only relegated to take pictures from the fence. And again, I couldn't go all the way around. I wanted to get a whole breadth of the front of the place, one of those panoramics. Okay, but there goes that crib from the shore. That's this intake crib that there's definitely a tunnel to. Now I'm talking about this whole stuff is like probably related to or the time of like when those power generation stations were built at the bottom of the falls. This stuff's probably unbelievably old because if those things, there you go, this little crib. Okay, see that? That is what I'm looking at right here. I think this is all related to waterworks. Waterworks is a big feature in this old world research here. That very interesting, very fascinating stuff going on with the towers. I did the Kensington Tower. That's related in the research all here too, I believe. So there's all these towers are obviously for water, and I understand. I see your guys' comments about keeping water pressure and everything. Well, please then explain why when I looked into that Kensington Tower one through the facade, there was red brick and mortar inside of it, but the construction only says one construction. Though when I peer through, what I see is indication of two constructions. So there's something definitely going on here with the waterworks, and from the head of the Niagara River to the cataracts at the falls, even out to where it empties into Lake Ontario. Because right where it empties into Lake Ontario, the Niagara River, that's Fort Erie, or excuse me, that's not Fort Erie. That is Old Fort Niagara, and that is a star fort. That's another place that I want to do. Okay, I'll leave some meat on the bone for you for that one. Check that place out, Old Fort Niagara. Like I said, from the head of the river up here to Old Fort Niagara, waterworks. Sorry about that. So yeah, and that's also another lighthouse out there. I forget the name of that lighthouse, but that's a cool shot. I thought through the fence. Yeah, so there's a brick wall over there, and I was trying to see where that was on this map. I got pictures of it, but this whole area was just built out like crazy. So yeah, that was right here. So this would have been. This is now water. They changed this whole thing, and look at this too that I've noticed. So this is how it works out, guys. There's star forts by water, especially at heads of rivers and bases of rivers, or the head of the river and where it empties out into. This, I believe, look at that. Bing, bing, bing. That's an old star fort. And it's got water coming in. Okay, this is a little side tangent, a little bit, but why is that not loading? And see, these maps aren't, some of the maps don't even load in anymore. There you go. Mr. Brees, you were right about that. Gotta download them. But yeah, that's a star fort, guys. 100%. That is what you would call, and look at how all the main avenues come off it, like Delaware, Elmwood, Main Street. Okay, that's this old star fort, repurposed completely repurposed in 1902. So you tell me how long it takes to do that. That's a star fort, I believe. Just completely changed, completely already by 1902. And they're just so at the head, I'm proving, or at least I'm putting out there that I believe this was a star fort, and you can confirm for sure that Old Fort Niagara is a star fort. You can look at it right now, and you could just see that as a star fort for sure. And on the other side, in Canada, there is an old fort there too that I believe also was a star fort. So, and there probably was this little piece of land right here is Canada that you can see over this, where International Bridge is going to. There probably was a star fort over here too. So on both sides of the river, and on the head and where it empties out into, star forts all over the place associated with water and waterworks, because we believe that that's a form of free, clear energy that they were in with Tartaria and everything. Excuse me. I apologize if the mute button doesn't work. Clearly it didn't last time. You guys heard me cough, and I hope the mic is a little bit better. I definitely seen the mic compression comments, and I still will get to your comments. Thank you everybody for them. I'll answer them, and I'll get to them, and thank everybody for laying one down and some insight. So that's where we are. This is the Star Fort. Check out Old Fort Niagara. We're at Porter. Let's get back to that. These pictures and video. And then we'll do some research. This is the front of the place, just beautiful. Probably, I presume maybe statues out here, but there's underground here too. Obviously with the tunnels and everything. I advise you to look on Google Earth or whatever you use to get a bird's eye view of it and look around this place. Hopefully I do a good job of showing you how big it is here with scale. But yeah, you can see it's all I'm sure you could take a tour of this, but it's probably superficial. That was all netted off for some reason. There were probably crests on there. There might have been even statues on there at one point in time. It kind of looks like they were bases for statues. Infinity. Now here goes another feature that I believe that when they put this little keystone in there, I believe that is indicative of it being usurped, because some buildings have just the arch without that keystone. That's just my opinion, a thought that I've had, because they seem to have been, some of them seem to have been taken out, like if it was just flush right across, and that top keystone, as opposed to it just being flush across, seems that was taken out in these little splashes, these little, I don't even know what to call these things, an embossed keystone maybe. And I think that might be indicative of them saying, hey, this is ours now. I think. So yeah, look at, I mean, red. It's just a very impressive building. You got the sun crest up there, a sun symbol maybe. Anybody make that out? Does this look familiar to any other buildings in your area across the realm regarding waterworks? I strongly urge you to look into that. Anybody who's around rivers, fast-flowing rivers, or anything, that waterworks seem to be a key feature all over the place, guys. From the Marley machine and that Campbell did in France in aqueducts. This is a very key feature here, and can definitely use some help. Thought this was cool too. This like little archway over here. There's City of Buffalo. Oh look, Tartaria, City Hall. Look at the construction pictures of City Hall. I'll do that eventually. I chalked that up to deep fake, vanilla sky status. They just don't look real. These guys were over there crushing. My man right here, watch him. Lands it. My man right here, not so much. It's a little more practice, huh? Tony Hawk. Beautiful day too. So yeah, the corners, that looks like facade to me. Maybe almost like they were going to facade this structure, and then they didn't. Okay, because it almost looks like those are buffering for, like, you put it on a. I don't know what that is. I'm not sure if that's common features for these old red brick pumping stations. See how it's mounted up there too, all the way down. Keep in mind, there's tunnels here. There's some serious tunnel action going on here. Yeah, this was cool. So yeah, like, is that aftermarket? And then look at what you have here. Old stuff. Is that old? This looks like it might be facade or foundation, but it goes underground over here too. I believe I get some pictures. Or you see like the top of something and it looks like it's underground. Beautiful daylight, or beautiful sky too. It was beautiful. Actually, you could say that that's actually a literal vanilla sky. Colonel F.G. Ward Pumping Station. There you go. Send the troops out. You guys always help me out, especially Muddy May. Keep sending that stuff, please. More than obliged. What happened here? That can't be all, is it? Maybe it is. I wanted to show you guys this too. You know what? I will. This was on my screensaver on my TV. It's obviously a ridgeline, but what I wanted to show, and I want to shout out right quick to the Eagle Eye crew, is look at these. Look at how this pattern. Are these old towers? Tower. Look at the back up here. How does that pattern happen naturally? At the same height, in the same pretty much pattern. I thought I got backed out picture of it, but look at that. Tower, 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 tower. Maybe, right? Tower, look at that. How they say mountains are mounted Tartarian citadels. They have an argument. Tartarian Meltdown, Spartan Red, and Jerry from the When the Buildings Cried. They certainly have arguments, and I definitely agree with some of that assessment. I think some of them are also Titans. But I hear you, Jerry, and definitely agree with you that some of them are melted. Most of them mountains are probably melted citadels. I'm right there with you on that. But I also believe some of it might be large trees, petrified trees, like Wise Up says. And I also think that some of them might be large titans, like Roger from Mud Fossil and Stelium 7 put out there. Okay, that's what I'll say about that. And it's all love, always. All you guys are crushing. Keep doing it. Alright, so that was the pictures. Let's get into the research end of it now. Also, always come over here, guys. Oh, I'm sorry there, Mr. Brees. I'm showing you our... we go back and forth with research, and that is what that is. So, he sends me all the maps and everything. Thank you very much, Mr. Brees. Keep doing that, sir. Super shout out to yourself and to Muddy May. Please come over here and check out our research website at MeWe, Autodidactic Realm Earth Research Group. Campbell set it up. I'm an administrator there. So is our friend Calum. If you have any questions, obviously Muddy May will help you out as well. Mr. Brees too. And myself, please come over, and you have to set up a user profile, but that kind of helps to weed out people who aren't interested. And come on over. This is my YouTube. There's a link for that Realm Earth Research group right here in the bottom right of my top rocker. Okay, there we go. So here we are at the waterworks station. That's absolutely huge, and they make it a little tiny thing. So let's get into some of this literature. Jubilee Waterworks. Okay. Colonel F.G. Ward Pumping Station. Colonel Francis Ward Pumping Station, filtration plant, and water intake are a City Buffalo municipal waterwork complex designed in the Italian Renaissance style and built in stages from 1907 to 1926. Okay, now that kind of lends credence to why that it wouldn't be fully built out here. Okay, I understand that. It was built in stages, so maybe this was the first stage. Okay, checks out there. For 1907 to 1926, but of course, there's no legitimate photographs of an Italian Renaissance style building built in Buffalo at the turn of the century. Just let's not take any pictures of that, okay? But let's take pictures of people holding shotguns in saloon style, in Old West style. Okay, Colonel Francis G. Ward was elected Commissioner of Public Works in 1900. Buffalo was then a fast-growing city of about 352,000 inhabitants. The city water system supplied by the half-century-old Massachusetts Ave pumping station, the one under the Peace Bridge, the one that's connected to that by the Jubilee water tower, that crib intake. Okay, here we go. Now it's referring to that was already there at 1900. Okay, to deduce the Massachusetts Ave pumping station was stressed. Oh yeah, well it's still there, and that Sentinel is still under the Peace Bridge. This this just I call it a Sentinel or a transformer. It looks like because it's impressive how it sits there. It's more impressive. Excuse me, sorry about that. You know what? Let me close this. If I start getting some MeWe, sorry about that. To me, this thing is more impressive than even the Peace Bridge in the piers. Honestly, I don't know how this was built. I I don't know how they did that. I don't buy caissons. I've done that before. I don't think that they can do a square caisson in 12 mile per hour water. Anyway, okay, the city water system, and it was so the Massachusetts Avenue one was stressed. Stressed because of the water and stuff, or stressed because it couldn't supply the growing. I'm not sure. Water, maybe it'll answer here. Water supplied by the Bird Island intake, the Niagara River was polluted, untreated, and believed to be the cause of regular typhoid outbreaks. Okay, but it's always constantly flowing, the Niagara River. I don't buy that. I understand that Lake Erie caught on fire in the 70s, but I don't think Niagara River is nearly as polluted as they would have you believe, causing typhoid outbreaks. Okay. With an especially devastating epidemic taking place in 1902, public demands grew louder for a safe, reliable, and more abundant water supply. Okay, so they created a narrative, and they were able to um, change their water intake, maybe in order to cover up that history and cover up the waterworks history. Move it to the Colonel Ward station. I don't know. I'm firing from the hip. I'm literally going through this and doing a deep dive with you guys. I hope you like this. Ward successfully led a campaign to modernize the Buffalo Waterworks. Early 20th century, 1906, Ward secured authorization to prepare plans to begin work in 1907. Work began on the okay, here we go. Work began on the tunnels excavations from which were used to create the foundation for the new Porter Avenue pumping station. The land prior to that point being mostly underwater. Okay, in 1902, it looks like terra firma. Looks like terra firma even to have a dock out here. When I say terra firma, I mean solid ground. And here's that Bird Island pier that they were saying everything was polluted, and this would be the old waterworks that they're talking about was polluted. The current that's going on here is unbelievable. And this is interesting too. It kind of looks like the current's going the other way because you have the downstream thing. It should be going, the downstream slip should be going up like this, because the current goes that way. And there's whirlpools in these eddies right here. Whirlpool, whirlpool, whirlpool. Small, but they're definitely whirlpools. Yeah, so it's not, and that crib is not in this picture. 1888. So that Jubilee must have been built between the Jubilee water intake and Black Rock that we're referring to here that was polluted, and they had to move it from here to that H.G. Ward station. Had to have been built, or that crib had to have been dropped in the water between 1888 and at least 1902. And good luck on you for finding anything about that. As far as like finding out how they did it, dropping caissons in 12 mile an hour water in late 1800s. I don't think so. I don't know how that happened. Was this not here? The water not here before? Did they circumvent this? I doubt it. I need your ideas. I really need your ideas. This is complicated stuff here, especially when you got the tunnel. So let's get back to that. Okay. Okay, grid, user foundation. Go here. So we have a reference to the tunnels, but where did the tunnels go? Okay. Work began pumping the station. 1911 collapse of the station in the course of construction, killing 8 laborers, practically ended the distinguished career of waterworks architect Robert Wallace. Okay, that's a good keyword there to look up. Robert Wallace and waterworks. Noted. Actually, we'll do that right now. This is how I do it. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay, so look at Robert Wallace. Okay, so this is what we're talking about with it. It goes cold off of the first page. Literally, we're getting told here that let's do Robert A. Wallace. And I put up Robert Wallace as they say here. Robert Wallace, Waterworks. And literally, like, they cross out Waterworks because there's nothing being found. Like by Ferguson, nothing's completing here. Let's do this. Do you see where we're saying that things don't add up? And it goes cold off the first page? Like what 1851, I believe, Studios, John Levi, and Wood and Nichols proposed with their architects, and how those trails go cold off the first page. So does this kind of stuff. Here we go. User trees, genealogy. I don't know if I want to go into that. Okay, yeah, actually I do. But second one down, they cross out waterworks because it's not even. This looks just like a copy and paste of. Not even going to get into that. Almost looks like a copy and paste of what's going on here. Okay, that didn't look like a legitimate site. You can see what I'm talking about. Who's Robert Wallace? What's up with Waterworks? Is that a whole constructed narrative to wipe out the old Waterworks free energy? I would presume so. Okay, so we just kind of blew that one out of the water, or at least blew some holes in that one. And obviously they had themselves an accident, of course, in fitting with the Schulkopf Dam collapse and failure, and the robber barons having themselves an accident, water intake. Okay, so then it goes to say and saying that they moved it from the old one under the Peace Bridge to this one right here. Okay, yada yada, in a pumping station. And what I'm saying is, this is, I guess you'd say, a cursory deep dive, because we'll also look up to see the schematics of that station. I'm going to do that right now because I want to show you guys the fact that there definitely is proof that those tunnels exist and where they go to. But there's no legitimate pictures of those either. Okay, the Jubilee Works was one of the Buffalo's first water systems when built in 1830. Now I believe they're talking about that the Black Rock one by the Peace Bridge. It replaced the village water John Couturer, who for years had gone about the streets on a horse-drawn cart selling water from Lake Erie to the homes without wells. Okay, the architecture and stuff that they're building at the time, and the buildings that they're said to have put up at the time, like these Colonel Ward FG pumping stations and the Psych Center, yet they're taking water in buckets out of Lake Erie and trolleying them throughout the streets selling water. If that doesn't sound like a disparity in the story, I don't know what does. That sounds absolutely ridiculous to me. That they would have the wherewithal to build structures like this at that time, literally. But you're selling water out of a horse and buggy in the streets of Buffalo? Where did all the Venetian artesian wells go? Did you guys completely usurp them and wipe them out of history? Why don't we know that this Colonel Ward pumping station connects to that tower in Depew that's no longer there, but you got a place right next to it that's called the Hydraulic Center, so you guys know that it does connect. And we got to put these dots together. That stuff really aggravates me. And look at this. Now I'm just noticing there's probably two. Now, yeah, this is saying that it was built at that time. There were definitely two towers here. I never even noticed that. Look at that. See? Okay, we went over this. Now let's go see if we here, and I want to see the Jubilee also because this is the Jubilee one is important. I did a video on this area too, the Jubilee Center. That's got to be all connected with this waterwork thing. Um, it has to be. Okay. Okay, here we go. From Lake Erie to homes without wells. Okay. In their backyards. When Jubilee came into the picture, Water John bowed to the progress and retired. Okay, another usurping. It was incorporated in 1827 with capital of Peter Porter. Obviously, that's where that Porter Street was named after, of course, president of the company. I'm sure he was named historian too, huh? Through through miles of wooden pipes, logs with holes drilled in the middle. The waterworks pumped. Okay, so they can make a tunnel under the ground, but they're using pipes that are uh, tree logs with holes in them. Give me a break. Give me a break. This is comical, actually. Okay, Black Rock. That's right. That's where the Jubilee water intake was, and that's what they're calling the Peace Bridge thing. That was Black Rock at the time. Now it's West Side, but at the time it was Black Rock. Okay, and there is still a portion of Black Rock, the city of Buffalo, here too, near Riverside. So I think that they scaled down Black Rock and changed the portion they're referring to in this area that's now a part of West Side. Underneath the Peace Bridge, like right here, I'll show you actually. This whole area of Buffalo by the Peace Bridge, that's effectively the West Side, and Black Rock would start like right around here in this area more so. Okay, so they're similar. So this whole, I think back in the day, this whole entire area was probably called Black Rock because there wasn't a Black Rock associated with the founding of this area. You could look that up on your own, but that's the gravy behind that. So Jubilee Center, miles of wooden pipes with holes drilled in the middle of them. Okay, waterworks pumped water from Jubilee Springs plant located out Delaware Avenue at Auburn to Buffalo Black Rock behind houses and was a spigot that allowed households without wells to have water supply. Okay, that just seems. By 1890s, the city had outgrown the waterworks. Okay, maybe that was the stress they were talking to and referred to. The actual system itself was too small. That's understandable. The population is growing. The smaller water intake can't. I understand that. Adopted a reservoir system which filled the pump with Lake Erie water. One such reservoir stood at the top of Prospect Hill along Niagara Street. Interesting. Where the Connecticut Street Armory stands today. That's another huge place that I want to do, the Connecticut Street Armory. There's so many places to do here in Buffalo, guys. So many. Waterworks, architecture, railways, canal systems. Have your pick. We have a lot of stuff to go through. Check out the Connecticut Street Armory. It's a castle. I'll go over that with these old maps too. I haven't even looked up that place on the maps. It's absolutely huge. It's a fortress for sure. Colonel War Pumping Station along Niagara Street. Okay, so there's something going on with the waterworks here, and what I wanted to do is just point out the fact that the information that we're given as far as, excuse me, the literature. I'm sorry about that. The literature here, it just the cursory research doesn't add up, and the Jubilee Springs, we have these plaques. Okay. Also have the plaques in Black Rock on Niagara Street about the Jubilee water. So I think what I'm saying is, obviously there's a tunnel. You know, let's get the schematics of that. Let's do that. Robert A. Wallace, a waterworks guy. I guess he was put out of business by the Gravelers, huh? Okay. See if I can find it. Is this it? Come on. Sorry this is boring for you guys. I'd like this to be kind of a fire from the hip. I found it before, and I was thinking that I'd be able to find it again. And if I can, I'm sorry, because it shows a bird's eye view of the schematic of the ward station. And you know what? I might actually have it saved. No, this is the Buffalo Water site itself. Veolia Water. Let's try to find it again. Ward pumping. It has it again. Let me explain it. It has a schematic. Excuse me, a schematic bird's eye view, and it shows one tunnel going to the Massachusetts Avenue pumping station, and the other going to the water crib intake. And I just want to show that to you because we've seen it in the literature. Pumping. Diagram. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to find it, guys, unless I do. You know what? Let's look at this. Francis Ward Pumping Station, Buffalo, as an architectural museum. I have this on my bookmarks, actually. Let's go into this and go through this. Okay, here we go. Francis Ward Pumping Station and Filtration Plant. This is information that we pretty much had before, and there's really no good pictures of construction. Maybe that one right there, the filtration plant was completed 1927. That doesn't give me any good definitive. It almost looks like they're saying that it was completed renovation in 1927. But we're getting there, guys. Stick with me. We'll find it. Buffalo, New York. What time? Look at the. Okay, look at these obelisks too. Look at this. What is going on here? And what's the date of this picture? 1916. Okay, that looks built out. I thought it was finished 1927. See what I'm saying? I'm not even going to go through this. You guys can look it up yourself. All I'm doing is showing you the anomalies, effectively. I hope this sparks your interest, because it boggles my mind that we can't find construction pictures of this at all. And I really want to find you that schematic. That's the city of Philadelphia. Why does it keep on? So there's obviously waterworks in Philadelphia. Anybody who's interested in this stuff and you're in Philly, you got some waterworks there for you. Let's check this out. Postcard. 1912. Well, when did it say this was okay, Colonel Francis Ward Pumping Station, Filtration Water Complex, designed in Italian and build stages from 1907 to 1926. Yet this is fully built out in a. Oh, look at that! We got pictures. Fully built out in a postcard from 1912. Fully built out, and there are two towers there. Look at this one, 1912, Perry Centennial. That's how that place looked. Look at that. I'm glad I went into this. 1912. So these are this. I mean, this a grand opening or just a reopening. Look at that. I really want to show you those schematics. Maybe it will be in here. Pretty much showed you all these with my boots on the ground. There goes the possible facade. There goes Suncrest. The pillars. The red brick. Flemish Bond brick, I guess they're calling that. We're going to do one more shot for some schematics here, guys, because it's extremely interesting, and I can't believe that I don't have it saved in my bookmarks. I'm very sorry about that. Buffalo Water Pumping Station. I can't. I'm not gonna sit here and watch you guys. Have you guys watch me look up this up. Excuse me, look this up. I'd appreciate it if anyone could. If I, you know what I'll do actually is when I do find it, because I'm gonna wrap this one out, and what I'll do actually is just show you that I'll wrap it back to the Depew one, because I'm gonna go out to the Depew water tower that I found on the other map, the Depew map, and I will show, I believe, or at least make a case that the tower out here from the old map that I have, let's go, actually I'll do that. I'll do a brief recap of that right now, because it's in fitting with the waterworks here. I believe that the waterwork ferry hydraulics, of course, that's a significant feature for, I guess you'd say, the controllers, to let them know that there's water here. Okay, now this is hydraulics, a hydraulics tower, as confirmed in my last video. I'm going to go there and get boots on the ground right there for you. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Now, and I'm also going to make the case that definitely what you see here as roads now, what was here in as now, last video I said that this was a trolleyway. It's actually a railway, and I apologize, but it is what it is. Please forgive me. I'm going to show you that I believe these don't just connect via railway, but there's also underground tunnels that connect all the way out from Depew to that area that we were just at. Oh, where are we? Cheektowaga, Depew area. I'll find it right here. Okay, this is where we are. I'm going to make a case that there's an underground tunnel from here all the way to the Ward pumping station, for sure. It looks like it, number one, and I'm definitely making some broad strokes and generalizations with that, but that's what we have to do with this research, and throw stuff out there and put it out there and see if throw it in the pool, see if it floats, type of deal. And for the commenters that are saying that I'm just putting stuff out there, because there's a couple people, and I appreciate this. Thanks very much for the trolls. I appreciate it. Makes me go harder. Yeah, I'm just putting questions out there. I'm not making any definitive charges or claims. I'm just proposing questions in the mainstream narrative. That's all I'm doing. And I do appreciate the constructive criticism. Keep it coming. Just be professional and respectful. That's all I ask. Just the same thing with being in MeWe. Okay? And again, this is Berserker Bear. I'm going to round this one out, telling you that the next one will probably be my boots on the ground at this location here at the Ferry Hydraulics, to make more and provide more information and data regarding the waterworks and the towers around here, and how they're probably all connected via towers underground from here to the Ward station to the Kensington water tower over off the 33. And as always, this is Berserker Bear, Dustin for Bushwhack and Tartaria, and I will report back. Take care. Be safe, everybody.